regular council meeting, April council meeting already. So welcome, members of the public, and we've got some special guests here this afternoon. I acknowledge our iwi partners here with us today, and I believe Councillor Jill Day from Wellington City Council is here. Jill, you put your hand up. Nice to have you here, Jill. Thank you so much for traversing the country to get up here. And I believe you're from Turangi-Tongariro descent, so it's lovely to have you here this afternoon. Also, other members of the public, members of the press, not the police, the press, staff, Deputy Mayor, Councillors, and Mr CEO. Right, just a couple of change arounds. We just have an urgent late item here, which is up there at the moment. But just before we get underway, just wondering, Councillor Kingi, would it be possible for a blessing for the day? Thank you, Councillor Kingi. Kia ora. Thank you very much, Kakati. Thank you, Councillor Kingi. And just acknowledge Councillor Mr. Clinton Green here, who is the chair of the Turangi-Tongariro Community Board. Lovely to see you here, Clinton. All right, we have just a little change around, and we've had some special guests today. So there's an urgent late item here, which Shane's got up on the screen there, that it's that recommendation for the KRG group amendment to be authorised operational hours for the kindy out there. I just need to move that. We'll discuss that item later on. Moved by Councillor Guy, seconded by Councillor Leonard. All those in favour, please say aye. It's against, carried. And a change around in the agenda items, so we'll bring 4.3 forward, and 4.1 will drop to the next item. So 4.3 is community feedback on the establishment of Māori wards. We have Mr. Dylan Taho with us this afternoon, and Sue Maver. Good afternoon, Sue and Dylan.
Good afternoon.
Welcome.
Thank you. I'll very briefly talk to the paper. You'll remember back in November last year that you passed a resolution to establish Māori wards for the 2022 elections. You'll also remember that in March this year, the legislation, the Local Electoral Act, was changed, and that took out the requirement to hold a binding poll. And it also allowed you a longer time frame to make a decision on whether or not to establish Māori wards. Now, obviously, you'd already made a decision in November, but it gives you the opportunity to, until the 21st of May, to reconsider that decision or reconfirm that decision. Back in May, at the meeting in May, you resolved to engage with the community to seek their views and opinions on the establishment of Māori wards while your November resolution remains. And your November resolution does remain at this point in time. Community feedback was opened after your meeting in March, not May. I'm ahead of myself. Back in March, it was open for 2.5 weeks, and the results of the feedback are outlined in my report, and you've all had access to that feedback. So you've seen the originals. You'll also remember that the council had discussions with iwi leaders and individuals from iwi and Māori entities. So most of that was last year, and that the feedback from those discussions was that the iwi would support a council decision to establish Māori wards. Today, you need to decide whether to reconfirm your November 2020 resolution to establish Māori wards for the 2022 local government elections. And in doing that, you need to take into account the requirements of the legislation and the feedback from the community and the feedback from the iwi leaders and Māori entities and organisations, all of which is clearly outlined in my report.
Very good. Thank you very much. Sue, nothing to add, Mr. Taho? All pretty straightforward. Yep. Very good. Thank you very much, Taho. Any questions or queries of Sue or Dylan here this afternoon? No? All pretty. Councillor Taylor?
All right, I'll start. First of all, I want to acknowledge all of those who have submitted, both for and against, and have taken the time to participate in this process. And I also want to state that I have read all of the submissions, both for and against. I also want to acknowledge the other information we've been provided, the legal opinions in relation to what the courts have said around council decision making. And I've read extensively outside of the submissions on some of the language that was used, and I've done my own background reading. I've formed an opinion and I've made a decision, having read all the information, and for the record, I'm in favour of the resolution remaining as it is. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Taylor. Any other
Your Worship.
queries? Councillor Williamson.
Yeah, thank you, Your Worship. Yeah, I endorse Councillor Taylor, and done a lot of the homework and done the research as well, and understand the local processes with consultation, and I respect that. But however, I just wanted to say, possibly either through misunderstanding or misinformation, there is a viewpoint within the local sectors of the local community that the formation of Māori wards is separatism and undemocratic, that they are not necessary, and some find it confronting. Personally, having engagement with all Māori at different levels of governance and committees, I see the value for the whole district with Māori ward representation at the council table, improving the democratic process, not compromising it. I see this as a relationship which will see positive outcomes benefiting the interest of all. We shouldn't find it confronting, but rather regarding it as being inclusive, recognising mana whenua. Thank you. So I support the resolution as stands.
Thank you, Councillor Williamson. Councillor Kathy Guy.
Kia ora. I also endorse both John Williamson and Kevin Taylor's comments with regards to those that submitted. I went into this process very much with an open mind. I had, in the very beginning, supported this, and after reading all of the information, I still hold the view that I would like to see Māori wards implemented. I think that Māori wards will bring huge value by adding a Māori worldview, which will assist us greatly in the future decisions in our diverse communities. It's never been so important in my mind as it is today, with the issues that we face over our environment and our regulatory impacts. I see this as a huge positive move, and I don't think that it is one that has been taken lightly. My expectation is that Māori will be included in and not just consulted on, and actually be at the forefront of every decision that is made at local government. And I am looking forward to that happening, so I also endorse the recommendation as it stands.
Thank you, Councillor Guy. Any other councillors? Councillor Park.
Yes, thank you, Your Worship. The process around these Māori ward seats is not something that I have been in favour of at all, and is why I voted against originally. After speaking to colleagues this morning about, with Taupō we're lucky, we have diversity around the table, we have gender equality around the table, and a mix of ages and professions and a lot of different things, but one colleague did point out that surety around the table of representation is what we need, not anything else. So I will not be voting against the existing resolution. I'll be going with the majority.
Thank you, Councillor Park. Councillor Rankin.
I too have read all the information and done my research, and I've spoken before about why I'm not in favour of this. And I want to add to that I see Maori as a proud and capable group of people as a whole in our nation, whose power and influence has grown and continues to grow. And now, as a registered member of Ngāti Maniapoto, and my grandchildren are affiliated to Ngāi Tahu, and having been a woman who developed her career during a time when women were given power because they were given it, and to be ever considered as a token woman at the time was something that horrified me and made most of the women who were carving a career at the time act in a totally different way than they should have had to. I don't want to see that happen, and I still believe passionately that this is the wrong thing for a group of people I have huge respect and admiration for. So I have not changed my mind, and I will be voting against.
Thank you, Councillor Rankin. Any other? Councillor Mack.
I do think it was right that we did go back for community feedback. I do think that it's really important that everybody has a say. Under the Turangi-Tongariro Community Board, nothing changed from the original vote. We still endorse the establishment of the Maori wards, and nothing has changed.
Thank you, Councillor Body. Sorry, Councillor Mack. Sorry, I was looking at Councillor Body. No. Councillor Westman. No. Oh, sorry.
I think it's been pretty clear. I've been in full support of this from the early commencement. I think our local community will be enlightened to have Mary at the table, and it is well overdue. I can't wait for it to happen, and I will be fully supporting it.
Thank you, Councillor Westerman. Any other comments? Councillor Truman.
Yeah, I actually just want to acknowledge first all the feedback that we received, and it's good that people took the time to have their say. But I also just want to acknowledge around this table the support we have to establish this. Like it's really heartwarming, and for our whole district that, you know, we want this to happen, and the key people at this table see the benefits, see the value, and just want it to happen. It's I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Councillor Truman. Anyone else? Councillor Kingi.
Yeah, thank you, Bishop. I'm very much like Councillor Westerman. I've been a big supporter, obviously, of seeing this come into place, and do want to acknowledge the effort that people have put in making submissions. I mean, I suppose, like anything in life, there are people that are well informed and understand something, and ones that may not have all the information. So I do take this as being one of those responsibilities that we have as elected members to help our community to understand, because sometimes some of their positions are born out of fear, out of assumptions, and a whole lot of things which are often not the case. So part of us having the courage to move in this direction and to set a course and to encourage our community to be part of it actually just makes sense. So I will still be supporting the recommendation that we retain the existing recommendation, and hopefully move our district forward. Thank you, mate.
Thank you very much, Councillor Kingi. Councillor Body.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. It's interesting times. If we go back to that meeting in May, I think it was, when, November, wasn't it? The 23rd November, when the wards were supported, then the law allowed the community to go to a poll, which we're all familiar with, and that poll required a certain number of signatures, and it was a petition for a poll. It wasn't for or against, it was a petition for a poll. That petition received just on 1,800 signatures when 1,241 were required. But the next day, basically, central government took away the democratic right for that poll, and the poll then became a non-issue. This council then rightly went to the people and said for or against, to summarise very quickly, and 80% of the people said no. Now, I take on board what Mr Tahu has just said before. The links that this council has gone to in the nearly 7 years that I've sat around this table, I believe has been extraordinary. And I made the note down here, steps that we've already taken or about to. And one of the things I found very interesting was back in, I think, October-ish, after the last election, we went out to a marae and we gave an undertaking there that we would visit every marae in the district, which was 2 a month. That's passed, that's dropped through, and I was very surprised and concerned that that actually happened. So my mind has not changed. I think as a council we've gone to extraordinary lengths, whether it's Maori or any other section of this community, so I will be voting against.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Body. Oh, sorry, Councillor Leonard, or did you want to?
I just wanted to refer back to Councillor Body's comments regarding visiting marae. At your discretion, Your Worship.
Sure. Yep, you want to do that now and then we'll go to Councillor Leonard.
Oh, just to note that that remains a priority for Council. Our commitment was 5 per year, and 3 of those being part of our staff development and the other 2 for Council's meetings. In the first instance, our intention is to try and split amongst the district. Our issue is we have an austerity budget which prevents us being able to go out and participate fully. So while you don't have a catering budget, we're not going to be able to go to the marae to fulfil manaakitanga obligations, which would actually be an issue for us in working alongside our iwi partners to host the day and the kaupapa specifically, which is why we put a push pause.
Thank you.
Councillor Leonard. Thanks.
I wasn't going to pass comment today because I feel that we've had the discussion, we've been there, we were just re-ratifying our point. I have read all of the submissions, but the one thing that plays in my mind was a mum at our Taupō library with her little preschoolers who was approached to sign the petition, who then had to explain what the petition was about, and I don't want to see anything like that ever happen again under my watch. So I will be voting to stay with what we have on the table.
Okay. Very good. Thank you very much, councillors. I've certainly not changed my mind. I believe this is another landmark day in our district that we're receiving today. So I wholeheartedly support all the speakers in favour of this resolution today. So the resolution is up on the board there. That we've received the feedback from the community, and confirms number 2 confirms the establishment of Māori wards for the Taupō District in the 2022 local government elections. Do I have a mover, please? Moved by Councillor Taylor, seconded by Councillor Kapi Guy. All those in favour, please say aye. Those against? And would you like those recorded? Good. Yep. Cool. Thank you. You got that, Shane? The motion is carried. Thank you.